Hi, Dr. Ani. How are you today?
Hi, good. How are you?
So, Dr. Ani, today I will talk to you about the trauma related questions I wanted to ask you and how you dealt with it and what motivation can you give us so that when we move forward in our lives, how do we deal with it?
Right.
Okay.
Very good
So,
question.
uh-huh. So, Dr. Ani, what was your trauma about, and what is your approach for healing?
Wonderful. Today, I want to share about the individual trauma I had in Turkey when I was invited to present on our research we did on the generational impact of the genocide. And it was published in the International Stress Studies Journal, and it was an international stress studies conference in Istanbul, Turkey. So as soon as I got there, I found out that the government is against using the G word, genocide. So they started harassing me every day of the conference. So it was very traumatic. Every day they were coming and threatening to kill me first, to torture me, then mentioning my whole family, where they live in Washington, D.C., New York, New Jersey. So it was apparent that they were following me. So that was very traumatic, and I was having fever, diarrhea, because when you have trauma, the body is getting ready to address the trauma so that your immune system is left open, vulnerable for other infections and diseases. And my digestive system was compromised already because I had generational trauma of the genocide from my father. So this was yet a double, both generational that came to the surface, and then the situational, the individual, the trauma that I was experiencing. And they threatened to me that I could not talk about this at the time with anyone until 2 months after I was threatened to be killed and so on. The earthquake happened, devastating earthquake in Turkey, and I was so sad. And we mobilized a team to go and help, like we do all the time. That is what we do: volunteer humanitarian relief work at Meaningful World. And we have worked in 50, volunteered in 50 countries, as well as in 26 states in United States of America. So this is
Mhm.
something that it has been our passion, our mission, and our volunteer work, in addition to all the other educational training and workshops that we provide to our communities locally. So it was very traumatic for me, and especially the 2 months that I could not share it with anyone, because by sharing,
Mhm.
we can release the trauma. So the way that I dealt with it is we used I used my our 7-step integrative healing model. I shared it with only one friend and I released it. Then I wrote about it in my journal. She empathized with me. That was wonderful. And then I tried to learn a positive lesson, which was very difficult because I was still having nightmares about the trauma, them trying to come and kill me, or the Turkish government torturing me or my family members. So it was a very scary situation for me, which caused me tremendous trauma. So I use the 7-step integrative healing model that we teach every month. We have a all-day workshop on that, as well as every week we have a free support group on Thursdays. And we use the same model, which has been very effective in all the humanitarian outreach missions that we have done. So that was a very extreme trauma that I felt. But when the earthquake happened and we mobilized a team to go, the few friends that I had shared, they thought we were crazy after what
Mm-hmm.
they did, that we went back to hell. But for me, it was very clear because the people who were torturing me or trying to torture me, traumatize me, were government officials. While the
Mm-hmm.
people who needed the help after the earthquake were the people. The people are not going to suffer because their government is fascist or backwards or non democratic, because they actually have in Turkey Article 301. I don't know if you know about this. Article 301 states that you cannot say the G word, no genocide, or else you'll be either killed or imprisoned. And in fact, my friend who was a journalist in Turkey, Armenian descent, Hrant Dink is his name. He was assassinated in 2007 and nobody could help him. He was killed in broad daylight. So this is the trauma I wanted to share and the ways that I dealt with by going back and helping the people and standing up. I stopped having the nightmares.
Okay. Okay. So, Dr. Ani, what do you find most rewarding about humanitarian relief?
That's exactly what I find the rewarding is to give back and help people who large number of people are impacted in these humanitarian relief works. Like in
Mm-hmm.
Turkey, that millions of people impacted with with the earthquake. In Rwanda, millions of people affected by the genocide. In Congo, the same. Wherever we go, there are large number of people are suffering from trauma, and we are coming from both experience and expertise to bring healing to these people. And they respond so well in that they open up and you can't stop them. They just are eager to share, and each time they share, their level of trauma is going down
Okay.
as compared to people who don't share and don't have a meaning in their life. There are several variables that are important in trauma healing. One is meaning making, one is forgiveness, and then of course the natural thing of release is very important to
Mhm.
release it.
Okay. Okay. So, I would like to ask you the next thing, that how has this experience affected you?
Well, the experience in Turkey, as I mentioned, it
Mm-hmm.
affected me tremendously with fear and trauma and nightmares, and that's the normal reaction to an abnormal event, and that's what we teach in our outreach humanitarian missions, or on a weekly basis. We tell people this is a normal reaction to an abnormal trauma,
Mm-hmm.
and just like COVID, which was a collective trauma. And in fact, there's tremendous mental health challenges, including anxiety, fear, depression, isolation, which is causing tremendous increase in mental health needs. Before COVID pandemic, it was only 18% of US population needing mental health or having mental health challenges. Now that percentage is up to 50% of the population currently have extreme needs that are based on psychological and mental health issues. So this is serious.
Okay, one thing is clear, that we really need to share whatever we are going through to release the stress. we need some support in our life, whether it be any resource or any person, family.
Right. Right. So we do have, thank you for mentioning resources. We do have
Mhm,
a list of resources on our website that are
mhm,
addressed specifically to the COVID pandemic and the related anxieties, fears, etc. We
mhm.
have another list for resources for racism and some of the trauma of people that people experience going through racism. So we have
Okay.
that on meaningfulworld.com. You're welcome, all the listeners, to visit and benefit from all of our publishing.
Okay. So this is the last question that I would like to ask you today. It is very important one, that what was your healing model? What is your healing model and how does it help other survivors?
Right. The healing model is the 7-step integrative healing model.
Mhm,
And this is something that is very, very simple, easy to learn. And we teach it every week in our support groups. And people learn it very fast because it grew from our experiences working in these 50 countries and 26 states in USA. So it's very organically grown, that the first step is you identify your emotion and then you measure
mhm,
it, because we don't have emotional thermometers. I how I wish we had emotional thermometers. But what
mhm,
we do is we invite people to measure it on their own, 0 to 10, 10 being the most severe. Where are your feelings at this point? You measure it, you put it down, and then you start journaling or talking with someone who is empathic, who can show you empathy. So the third step is empathy and validation. In fact, Sullivan had said that that's the only way to get to closure after trauma.
mhm,
And then you shift into lessons learned. How did I grow? And how did I become more resilient from this experience that hurt me so much? And then we reflect on that. In fact, if we were in person now, I would be getting on top of a chair and telling you, use your trauma like a chair, stepping stone, get on top of it. Don't let it come on top of you
mhm,
and you experiencing backache, heartache, and other muscle aches, etc. And by getting up on that, using the trauma as stepping stone, your perspective, your horizon will be improved and your insight will increase. And then from there, you start noticing where your information deficit is. So you gather information to learn more about what you're going through. And then you connect with Mother Earth, with the flowers, with the earth. Walking, forest bathing is what Japanese call it. Really, not just walking, but touching things, feeling things, experiencing it, nurturing. We call it nurturing Mother Earth and being nurtured by Mother Earth. And the last step is embracing our breath, because we, through the universe and gods, we are created in complete harmony. So this harmony happens because of all the traumas we experience and negative experiences built up. So we need to have outlets to release that, so we're not keeping that poison in our system. So with breath work and movement, we have soul surfing exercises and movement and focusing on deep diaphragmatic breathing. We can relax and empower and nurture our self healing.
Wow, Dr. Ani, that was wonderful. And I can't wait to follow the 7 steps program in my life to heal from my past and my experiences that still affect me in one way or the other in my day to day life.
Yes, yes. As we say at Meaningful World, shared sorrow is half sorrow, while shared joy is double joy. So our goal is to release the sadness, make it half, and from the half, a quarter, from the quarter, even less, and
Mhm.
then multiply the joy so that you can feel and connect with the positive aspects of your life as well.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much, Doctor. Thank you so much for joining us today and giving your important time today. We hope to connect with you soon and share some wonderful ideas with you and listen to your experiences and how you deal with it. Okay.
Thank you so much. Have a blessed
Thank you.
day.
You too. Have a good day. Thank you.